Alright, so Sabotage Studios has perfectly created everything that I love about classic JRPGs, including the vibrant and colorful worlds and environments, alongside all the quirky and memorable characters, with solid turn-based fighting mechanics and a beautiful soundtrack. And being one of my most anticipated games of 2023, this little indie gem from the makers of The Messenger stands right up there with some of the best JRPGs that the golden age of the Super Nintendo and PlayStation 1 have to offer. So today, let's go over my thoughts on Sea of Stars and see if maybe this is a game that you would like to try out for yourself. Your story begins as the two main characters, Valerie and Zell, as they set out to accomplish their first mission as newly graduated Solstice Warriors in defeating the last remaining Dweller, a minion of the evil Fleshmancer. And in the process, you of course come across and recruit more like-minded individuals who join your party and fight right alongside you. And in fact, these characters that join later on quickly became some of my favorite characters in the game, with some very cool attacks and personalities that completely sets them apart from the mainline characters. And one of the main characters that you meet very early on is the warrior cook and childhood friend, Garl. Not a Solstice Warrior, he's basically the muggle to your Harry Potter wizards, or whatever. He'll teach you a couple recipes, and in doing so, unlock the cooking ability, which allows you to cook meals at the campfires that you come to, and then you're able to eat these meals either while in battle or just while traveling to restore your health and magical points, as long as you make sure to collect or purchase ingredients along your way, and you'll get the chance to learn and purchase new recipes fairly frequently. The main quest also offers a lot of breathing room, with a lot of optional, extra content that allows you just to explore and to really, flesh out the full lore of the game. Or by simply listening to a reoccurring NPC named Teeks, who visits you by the campfire and always tells you some really well-written stories upon request. And I actually really enjoyed her stories. Again, like I was saying, they are very well written, and the music that plays during these stories just always sets the scenes very well. Sea of Stars is of course inspired by some of the greatest JRPGs of the 16-bit era, with strong references, gameplay, and battle mechanics expertly crafted from the likes of Illusion of Gaia, Mario RPG, and of course, Chrono Trigger, with an overworld seemingly taken directly from Chrono Trigger, with a fluid, action-packed battle system that allows you to face no random encounters in the field, giving you the option to engage or attempt to avoid any enemy that you see by quickly taking a sidestep, narrowly avoiding the enemy's reach, or by simply climbing up onto a ledge. But once in battle, this is a part where I feel that Sea of Stars truly shines, with fast and fluid turn-based combat occurring on the same screen, yet offering you the ability to engage in combo moves such as Valerie with her Moonerang technique. That's right, it's a boomerang in the shape of a moon, therefore it's a Moonerang, requiring you to press the A button in time with it returning to you in order to repeatedly strike the enemy or enemies. And this is just one of the many ways that this occurs, with each character in your party able to learn skills that requires quick button presses and timing in order to increase the attack power and or longevity of the attack. This is alongside the various combos that you can learn through locating scrolls in hidden areas that teach you a move that you can execute in conjunction with another character, creating a much more powerful attack, and just looks absolutely fantastic with the beautiful animations that the team has created. You can also deflect the enemy's attacks in time with their strike, which builds up a combo meter. However, the enemies are also capable of performing devastating combo attacks as well, but you are able to break their guard if you can attack with the moves displayed above the enemy, stopping them from performing the combo. All of these aspects just really make every battle feel so alive and interactive, completely blurring the line between turn-based and action-oriented combat. I absolutely love this aspect, and it really made me look forward to every fight, instead of how I feel with some JRPGs where eventually the battles, as good as some may be, do become a little tedious and a bit repetitive at times. And the gameplay outside of combat also runs flawlessly and is just fantastic, with the majority of the environments being filled with branching paths that you climb, shimmy, jump, and most impressively to me, swim your way through each setting, finding hidden areas that may contain valuable items to sell or new weapons and armor. This all leads to some simple yet very polished and surprising platforming that allows you to transition between each mechanic fluidly, keeping every level that you enter fresh and exciting. And if you haven't noticed by now, for one, what is wrong with you? Because the visuals are absolutely stunning. The artists over at Sabotage created a beautifully lush, vibrant, and colorful world that easily stands alongside the best looking retro and modern RPGs. Reminded me a lot of the Lunar 1 and 2 complete games for the PlayStation 1, as well as Legend of Mana, also on the PlayStation 1, that up until now had some of the best looking hand-drawn RPG aesthetics around, just in my opinion. With Sea of Stars offering some truly jaw-dropping scenery, from dense forest areas, mountain ranges, tropical lagoons, snow-covered areas, and swamps and castles. With some very impressive lighting and shadow effects that truly merges the modern developmental capabilities with retro-inspired settings. And speaking of lighting, the way the game allows you to utilize the lighting effects in solving puzzles is also really unique. Being Solstice Warriors, of course Valerie and Zell are able to stand on platforms throughout the world, allowing them to control the day and night cycle. The entire environment that changes between morning, day, and night is a really cool touch, and just adds that other layer to an already incredible looking landscape and atmosphere. The character designs, whether it be Zell and Valerie, or any of the other playable characters, are all highly detailed and have their own unique look and style. The different personalities of each character really stands out as well, as does the humor, with the writers of this game's dialogue really showcasing their skills, providing witty, hilarious, and at times deep conversation. The whole vibe of the game is just super charming and draws you right in from the moment you start playing. You will also of course gain multiple abilities outside of combat, including wind, allowing you to push large blocks and power small rafts, to the classic grappling hook that allows you to scale across large gaps, but modernizing it with some really solid platforming techniques such as grappling across a gap and then flinging yourself onto a wall, immediately climbing up and over to another ledge. And this is just another great example of how truly buttery smooth the gameplay is in Sea of Stars. The weapon and armor system is very reminiscent to the other games of the style, with you being able to find weapons and armor throughout your playthrough, or also by purchasing them from local shops or wandering merchants that you find along your way. You'll equip these in a fairly basic menu detailing the pros and cons of each item, and if they have any certain buffs attached, such as being more effective towards undead enemies, for example. There are also inns or hotels at every town you venture into, but you can also set up camp and restore your health and magic points, and save your progress at any of the campfires that you discover on your journey. The leveling system is also pretty straightforward as well, with the one caveat being that anytime you level up, you get to actually select what increases for each character, whether it be hit points, magic points, defense, attack, etc. And you need not to worry if you have more than 3 characters in your party, and maybe if 1 or 2 are currently ill or off doing something else, because regardless of who is actually fighting at the time, the hit points are evenly dispersed throughout. And the music, of course, is another huge highlight of this game and deserves a ton of praise. Composed by Eric W. Brown, the soundtrack to Sea of Stars fits perfectly. Every track feels familiar to the retro OSTs that inspired it, yet at the same time has a very fresh and modern take, with ambient and minimalistic moments reminiscent of, say, Secret of Evermore and Chrono Trigger, to full and bright scores bringing to mind the best of the Mana and Zelda games. There are also 10 guest tracks composed by the great Yasunori Matsuda, which I can only imagine had to be a huge honor for Eric Brown to work with. And I will absolutely be picking up the soundtrack on day one if they do ever decide to release a physical version, which I hope they do. All in all, Sea of Stars is a game that takes all of the best aspects from the JRPGs of the 16 and 32-bit eras and presents them in a wonderfully addictive and highly enjoyable package. They cut out a lot of the more frustrating aspects of traditional JRPGs, such as having to constantly grind through levels to defeat tough enemies and bosses, random encounters, and the vague directions and objectives that you get sometimes. And even though this game was developed by an indie studio, Sabotage has once again proved themselves to be a very creative and highly competent studio, crafting Sea of Stars into an experience that can stand shoulder to shoulder with any of the greatest mainline games in a very crowded genre. Sea of Stars is available now on Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, and of course my go-to platform of choice, the Nintendo Switch. It also has a physical copy for the Switch slated for release sometime in early 2024. And if you have Xbox Game Pass or PlayStation Plus, this game is also available right now on both of those services. But what do you guys think? Have you already been playing through this game? And if so, what are your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comments below. And how about you go ahead and pick up that old Moonerang hanging around? Go ahead, throw it at that like button, and as soon as it comes back, deflect it, and hit that pesky subscribe button as well. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great day, and I'll see you on the next video.